Welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Desarob from Force Canada. That is his own guild from Force Canada. So what's happening to all you Canadians out there? Now, he has been playing for almost 9 months, and he's a little bit of a Dolphin, spends a little bit of money here and there, not a ton. 9 months, and he's got definitely hyper-focused on certain characters that are important. He wants to know what he should do with his arena. Should he tweak it at all? With his ships, should he tweak any of the teams? For Raid, he's soloing with a Tebow team lead, and he's doing the 5th level of the raids, and then he also wants to know about any future tunes that he should farm. Also, he's thinking of Zaying numbers crunch for his R2-D2, and then also he wanted to throw out a shout out to his appreciation for Discord. During our conversation, when we were talking, he said, "Hey buddy, your Discord has been a blessing, money well spent for a privilege alone." So a special shout out to Warriors patron. And that, my friends, has nothing to do with me. That has to do with all of my amazing patrons. It's a wonderful community where everybody teaches and helps and trains everybody. When they ask a question from me, half of the time before I can even answer it, there are some crazy, awesome, astute answers that are already being shot out by my patrons. I have some of the best players in the game in my Patreon for sure. So I just want to give a shout out to my Patreons for the support and also for the community that they have created. Now, Desarob, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start out with your arena team, and I am going to tell you, you have been listening to advice already. Your team is excellent. I look at what you have, and of course, you're still in character development. You know, gear 8 and 9 is about as high as you've gotten most people, and that is where you should be after 9 months. And so the only real change up you could possibly do is if you're struggling with finding your team faster than other teams, you could always pull R2-D2 off the team and put Rex in as a leader, and that will speed the team up, but it's probably unnecessary just due to the fact that Wedge gives the speed bonuses when he's leader to Biggs and Wedge. So I think leaving Wedge in lead with Biggs and R2-D2, R2-D2 is going to create more durability and more damage and all that good stuff, as well as Trit and Baze. It's just that durability that R2 brings, plus R2 brings the stun, which is critical. So I would really say the way you have it is probably the way that you should have it. Really quick looking at your ships, I noticed that you are still running Admiral Akbar, and that's fine if you like him. He's got that cleanse, which is really, really important. But in today's meta, there's so many people using the Executrix just because when ships come in, they're going to get that, plus that tie attack that happens, that a huge AoE after 5 turns is really devastating. If you can survive that long and you can go first, it's absolutely crutch. It can actually crush your opponent. It's really, really amazing. So I'm looking at your team now, and you're currently using Biggs, Umbaran, Imperial TIE Fighter. You're also using the TIE Advanced, and the Scimitar. And so your lineup is exactly what I would be suggesting. The only thing I would suggest is maybe pulling out Admiral Akbar for the Executrix, because basically they're at the same level for you, and the Executrix has just got a few more things up their sleeves. But you're going to have to develop it a little bit more. I wouldn't worry a ton about Grand Moff Tarkin, although the higher he goes up, the higher speed overall goes up for the ship. So you will want to develop Grand Moff Tarkin and these abilities if you're going to make that suggestion. Otherwise, your ships are exactly how I would recommend them. As far as your backup, of course, you're probably running Boba Fett in the first slot for your backup, and that's what I would continue to do. And then for the next two, I don't know who you're running, but I would probably stick in Wedge just because he's such a high damage dealer and a little tankier, and he is one of your high guys in your arena team. So you're going to continue to develop him, which means you're going to continue to develop him as a pilot as well, which is awesome. And then maybe working in Rex at the end or something, or you could use Sunfac's ship at the end just to create a little more durability for your team. Otherwise, your arena team is as good as it gets with what you have, and your ships are as good as they get with what you have. You're doing a phenomenal job with both of those. As far as the raid, you mentioned you're doing the Rancor and you're running through it. You gave me the list of the Tebow team with turn meter reduction, and you're able to, you know, just solo it and go crazy for level 5. And you asked if you should tweak the team, and I'm going to tell you, don't tweak that team. If that team is working, if it's not broke, don't don't fix it, right? And so that's definitely the way to go. But I do want to tell you that you run your own guild. It's a smaller guild, and you're not doing Heroic Rancor yet, and you're not doing Heroic AAT yet. And so my suggestion is go to on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Guilds in Facebook. There is a Facebook page that will help you develop your team, that will help you find. There's over 6,000 members in here. Many of them are looking for good guilds, and others are guilds looking for good players, and so it kind of matches them up. I would join this site so that way you can really find a few new people. So this recruiting piece isn't something you asked for, but I definitely think you need to get a few more people into your guild, and then you'll be able to move up to the Heroic Rancor, and at that point I might suggest a different team. But for now, the team that you're using, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So do that. That's what I suggest for that. Let's go back. As far as Zetas, you did ask if you should do numbers crunch next, and since you are using R2-D2 in your arena team, that would be the next Zeta I would recommend. Absolutely, numbers crunch is awesome. Definitely that would be the way. And the last thing you asked about is who should you do a future farm on. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, I am sure, with all of these. I used to be B2 battle droid, and right now, because of territory battles, my drum beats for resistance. That's right, the resistance are critical, they're crucial, and they're clutch in the new territory battles. And so if you want something to chew on to farm for this new territory battles, or just even for the game, do resistance. And this is why they're going to help you phenomenally in phase 2 of the AAT. You're going to be able to use them in territory battles through every phase of territory battles. They'll be able to smoke Galactic War each and every day for you, and you'll be able to unlock speed mods, which will help every single character in every single avenue of the game for you. So I would definitely recommend farming all 5 resistance, and I'm not talking about R2-D2, I'm talking about resistance pilot, resistance trooper, Rey, Finn, and Poe. So get to this resistance team. You will not regret it, and there's only one Zeta needed on Finn to make this team pop. So you're doing really well in Arena. I think that you've got it about as good as you can do, and you're doing really well in your irregular Arena squad. I know you don't spend a ton of money, so it is a little bit difficult to compete with those people in the number 1, 2, and 3 spots that have a lot of money invested. But for the little bit you've invested, you've definitely focused on some of the right characters. So like I said, future farm the resistance, Zeta numbers crunch, get on that Facebook page for recruiting. Your raids are doing good, and your arenas and ships looks good. As always, make sure you keep your gaming on. Warrior out.